Quite frankly, even walking the Color Guard in from Fort Hamilton here in Brooklyn was, just really felt like just a great, New York feeling. So I hope you guys felt the same way.
Carlos, your champions have been so dominant in their divisions. What's next for them in the new year? How do you continue to challenge such amazing athletes?
That is really a great question. I mean, you look at Marlon, and quite frankly, I thought, even the fight as it developed, it wasn't very long. But I think even Marlon was like, wow, Silva's like, I'm just not gonna throw a few kicks and chop him down, and I think it was a little bit unlucky, for Silva. Those things happen. Seemed like he, kind of injured himself, or I don't really know what happened, but he hurt his knee for sure. Justin, I think tonight, ran into something that maybe he didn't expect a little bit. He did say that Firmino was going to be tough, so I think he knew it. He said that over the last couple days. But I think, when Firmino was literally on his back and he was carrying around all of his weight, I think it probably gassed him. I mean, at least just as a guy that tries to, I understand at least a little bit about fitness. I mean, I know that gassed him.
Yeah, definitely. He basically held him against the cage for almost the entire first
it was
round.
all of his weight, like literally, just on his back. It was pretty incredible. Yeah, and then David, David, I think, amazing fight. Lewis, I think, had him. I think Lewis thought he had him. I think we probably all thought he had him. He got out of it and figured a way to reverse it. Granted, great fight. And then, Fitch and Shields, I think, is what we probably thought Fitch and Shields was going to be. I mean, he grinded it out. And they went 5 rounds. If, for anyone in here, we all know that those 5 rounds it's just tough. That's 25 minutes of just hard work. I don't think any of us can understand how hard that is for both of them. And I think they both were like, wow. And, Fitch seemed like he, should have kept the belt. You got to, sort of as a kid, I always believed that, you got to take the belts from the champion, and that's the right way, and with the decision, Fitch keeps it.
New York has always been the dream. Mixed martial arts only recently legalized last June, and now after the UFC, you're here. How does it feel after all this time, Carlos, with the World Series of Fighting? We've known each other for a couple of years now. How does it feel for Bruce Bindell and Bruce Dyfick, all of you people at the top, to finally realize the reality, bringing the dream of mixed martial arts to New York State?
I think the question, is a bit of an answer in itself, Robert. We talked with Dylan, we talked with the Garden. We found a date with NBC and our partners. It was very important for us to be not just on NBC Sports Network, but on NBC. I think they came through for us and kind of put together a double header. NBC Sports Network as the undercard, NBC as the main card, all free for the fans, which I think is really awesome. And the Garden really helped us in a big way. The commission was really great to work with. The UFC did a fabulous job in paving the way for all of us, and we were excited to be the second, and now we're super excited that second fight went well. I think our athletes performed well. I hope they're going to be all okay, because we're always concerned about them, and hopefully they will be in the next few days. But look, I think by all means, the stadium felt great to me. I think everybody had a great time. I think the energy was there. The DJs were spinning great music. I think we had some great sponsors. The sponsors we've had, like Alienware, awesome. Some new sponsors like Grunt Style, like Kawasaki, like Avion, and certainly Miller Lite, just to name a few. Look, I've been in the sports business a long time, and advertisers are just as important to the content as the content itself. It's important that when you come out of a great fight, you go into an awesome Alienware commercial, an awesome Miller Lite commercial. It's just that's part of the show. And so I think it really raised the fit and finish.
Was New Year's Eve the intended date, or it just worked out that way?
A little of both. A little of both. We had looked at some dates in December back months and months ago, and I don't even remember why, but we ended up landing on New Year's Eve, and we sort of stopped, and it seemed like this great block. It's great that New Year's Eve is a Saturday, so it really felt like a sports day. 4 to 6 on NBC. That's the end of the NBC sports block on a Saturday. It's like a dream. There's obviously a lot of great sports on today, but I think we were one of the great sports. I was sort of checking things, and I know we were trending on Twitter, sort of in the top 10. And when I see WSOF NYC trending on Twitter at 10 and 8 and 12, I mean, that's pretty good.
What do you say? I mean, there was a lot of like kind of haters, like, oh, well, they're doing this on New Year's Eve. You know, who's gonna go? And
I'm done. You know, I'm done with all the haters. We always try to take the high road. Look, we've got nothing but respect for the UFC and what they've done over the last 20 years. But I think World Series of Fighting, we've got this special guy in Ray Sefo that takes care of all of our fighters. Ray and I think have really partnered up in a unique way with my media background and his as authentic and real fighting background as it gets. He just got in the Hall of Fame, and I think this show just showed everybody that we're not going anywhere. We've got some great fighters. These fighters are world-class fighters, and I think we take care of our fighters and treat them as athletes and want to continue to grow it as a sport.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Great
packed.
athletes.
Like most of the time when you come to like a show or an event, it starts to get packed more towards the main event. It was packed from the opening all the way to the end, and I think that was pretty impressive.
No, we appreciate it. Yeah, it really felt good, and I felt the same way because look, as the guy that's always looking up in the stands and wanting to feel that energy. Yeah, it happened early, and you know, big thanks to Chuck Liddell, big thanks to Randy Couture, big thanks to Kayla Harrison and Ray for being out there. They're signing autographs. I mean, there was a line. You guys got here early too, but you know, there was a line out front for people to come in and get autographs from 12 to 1, and they're out there now. Ray's not here with me now because he's signing autographs because people want to meet him and they want to meet Chuck and Randy and Kayla. And yeah, look, that's a little bit of, you know, I think a little bit of the kind of maybe a little more boutique, a little more down home that World Series of Fighting is about with the fans, and we want to keep that going.
Were you anticipating John Fitch announcing his retirement?
We were not.
And what's your reaction to it? Does that mean that Jake Shields could fight for the vacant title? What are they going to do with that belt?
You know, all great questions. I just finished the event just like you guys did. I haven't gotten a briefing from anyone. I was as surprised as everybody else when John said that in the cage. I haven't talked to John. It's not really my job to talk to John. Ray will do that. And as soon as Ray talks to John, we'll loop back with everybody. I think Jake always puts on a great performance. And I think they both respect each other a lot, and we'll just have to figure it out.
I'm curious what your
David
plans.
Branch, I'm sorry. As far as David Branch, he said in the past that it's very challenging for him to defend both belts at middleweight and light heavyweight, especially since some of the other guys at light heavyweight are much bigger than him. Have you guys spoken about this? Do you think he might only concentrate on one belt from now on, or is he still going to continue defending both?
We've talked about it for probably 9 months. David and I were walking down the street probably 6 months ago. We did a radio show, and he hadn't defended at 185 yet, and he said, Carlos, I want to defend. I want to at least defend once. And so, he's done that. He's done it a couple times now, and we'll talk to David and sort of see what the future holds. I think he feels maybe a little lighter. I mean, not a cliche, but he feels lighter and bouncier and just a little more. He can jump around a little more and be a little more athletic at 185. But I think he still has to cut to get there. And he was saying before weigh-ins that he had a little bit to go, and so we got to talk to him now and see how he feels. I mean, I thought it was a great fight, and I thought Lewis fought a great fight. And so, but that's why they come to fight. You don't know. That's why sports happens, right?
Floyd Mayweather holds more than one belt, has held more than one belt at one time. Welterweight and junior middleweight in the boxing division. That David Branch holds 2 championships. It is somewhat unique as far as mixed martial arts is concerned, but it's not unknown in professional sports. It's been known to happen. He's a remarkably talented man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, look, I mean, World Series of Fighting is, only 4 years old, and maybe not as many people know David, but David's, he holds 2 belts. And I think that's, for all of you that, know so much about mixed martial arts too and write about it every single day, look, that's insanely cool and amazing that he's got 2 belts. And, he still has them after tonight. So, he's going to have a happy new year, with 2 belts on his mantle.
I'm curious what your plans are for Andre Harrison. He's undefeated, and he just beat a really tough guy in Bruce Boynton. What's next for him?
Again, I'm sure it's on Ray's chart, and I think it was a tough fight and a great win. And he's a real talent. I mean, he's a real talent, really good athlete, and definitely part of the World Series of Fighting, growth plan. And so we're excited for him.
And Gaethje seems to be like your biggest draw. I think whenever he's on a card, he's
He's
the
the
main
only guy
event.
that can do a backflip off the cage.
Correct. Well, correct. Now, have you and Ray discussed his? I mean, you're not going to change his fighting style, but how does his fighting style affect you guys when he's just out there and he's willing to take two to give that one? How does that make the executives feel watching your champion, your biggest draw in there, putting himself?
Honestly, I'll answer it. I'll answer it a little bit more of a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike Ray, I'm not 20 years in MMA or fighting. I'm a sports guy. Been a sports guy my whole career and my whole life, and I think that's Justin's style,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you can hone your style, but I think it's why he's undefeated too. And I think even in my time that I've been here at World Series of Fighting over the last year and a half, I've seen it mature. I think it'll probably mature a little more. I think he was maybe a little. I mean, I think we all saw. I think he was a little surprised in the first couple rounds. But Firmino's tough. I mean, and he knew he was tough. I mean, he's a bulldog, and he's just the way he's built. I think it's tough for Justin, and maybe he's a little bit heavier when they were finally in the cage after weigh-in. But I think that's look. I mean, even a couple times where I really thought Justin was hurt. Then he turns around and he's like a firecracker again, and that's pretty cool. That's like what special athletes do, and it doesn't matter the sport. You can pick any of the sport. The guys are down and they're tired, and it's the fourth quarter or it's the end of a long, and they'll make a run and they'll do something special because they have a little bit something there. And Justin absolutely has that.
How much do those backflips make you cringe whenever you see it?
They actually
It's like my insurance is the insurance paid.
Ray says it all the time. I mean, that's high. That's pretty high up there. But he's a great athlete. I mean, you just not anyone can go do that.
Were you told what the nature of the injuries that made him forced to go to the hospital tonight?
I have not been told. No, I have not been told.
Carlos, what's the plan for 2017 for World Series of Fighting? What can we expect? Where can we expect to see you?
I think we're gonna take a little breath here in January. I think you're gonna see more of what you saw tonight, really high quality. But I think you're also gonna see a little more innovation. I think you're gonna see more stuff, with some of our investors. A little bit from my background with, multi-screen, multi-camera, some technology. I think we're going to continue to push it, and I think you're going to continue to see us really talk about MMA as a sport. We believe that MMA is the fifth major. We are a piece of that, but if you look at UFC and you look at Bellator and you look at us and you put that together into this bucket called the sport of MMA, it's definitely the fifth major. And so we're going to continue to treat it as a sport and try and keep growing it.
What's the challenges in shooting it, and what changes do you feel like has to be made in order to get better production value? I mean, it looks great to me, but I'm not a television person.
Oh, look, tonight's show. I mean, look, we've got a fabulous, we got a fabulous production company in Tupelo Honey. We got a fabulous company in NBC Sports. I mean, I've been part of that family for a long time, and NBC Sports is NBC Sports. I mean, it's the best. That's why every 2 years you watch the greatest athletes at the Olympics on NBC Sports. So we had David Gibson shooting today. We had Sam Flood back there, John Miller, the head of NBC. I mean, everybody was here supporting us, and so there's no doubt that the fit and finish of today's show, and I think all of our shows, are as good as it gets. I think it's really how we start to innovate and bring not just the MMA fans in, but how you start to elevate it and grow it around really it being that fifth major.
How do you get the average person who's not into combat sports interested?
Many of the same things that you see that come from NBC Sports and a lot of our backgrounds. Getting to know them better. We're talking about Justin tonight. Understanding what they're doing day in and day out. I mean, Justin's not going to fight for 3 months or 4 months. What's Justin doing for the next 3 or 4 months?
Documentary style.
How's he training? What's his fitness? is Justin going to the, you know, what's his next 30-day plan? I'd like to follow Justin's 30-day plan. You know, I really would. You know, maybe you'd like to follow Justin's 30-day plan.
I totally would.
Right?
Yeah.
Why not? And you know, maybe at the end of the 30 days, I did the same plan that Justin did, and then I go watch him fight. Because I just did the same thing he did. I ran every day, I jump roped, I ate the same way. So I think it's how we look at all those things around
So
the
health
sport.
and fitness as well as.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about Magomed, your flyweight champion? We haven't seen him in over a year. What's the status there? Is he coming back? Or?
I can't really say because I don't know the answer to the question, but it's something that I'm happy to have Ray take a look at and shoot you some notes.
Sure. And as far as we had Randy and Chuck talk about the expansion of the Ali Act and other things that are more helpful to fighters' rights, let's say. How does that work out from your promoter's point of view? Is that advantageous to you to the point that you had these guys showcased as main guests yesterday?
Look, I think I don't really know how it's all going to play out. I do know that at World Series of Fighting, we want to make sure that that all of our fighters are taken care of. They're important to us. Ray wants to take care of them. I mean, if you're back in the fighter meeting and you're a fighter and you get Ray Sefo to give you a pep talk before you go into the cage, I think that's different. I mean, it's special. I mean, Ray, you know, we were talking earlier, Ray's, you know, walked into arenas with 50,000 people, with 80,000 people to fight. And, you know, look, I mean, we've got 5,000 people in this awesome arena today, but, you know, all these fighters hear those things from Ray. And so I think we're just going to continue, Ray's going to continue to, you know, cultivate, you know, that attitude with our athletes and really take care of them. And so I think you'll hear more about that as it all develops, and we'll keep track of it.
Thank you guys so much for coming. I'm going to steal Carlos back now. So
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you
Happy
so
New
much.
Year.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.